Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Into the Weekend with BetDSI show for NFL Week 11. Of course, this is a show we do with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook. Huge sportsbook, takes a ton of action from sharps and the public and everything in between. Big public guys, small public guys, and Brent gives us a snapshot of the action he's taken. Right now we're looking ahead to NFL Week 11, Friday afternoon. Brent, thanks for being back with us.
Good to be with you, Peter.
All right, the first thing I want to ask you about, right, Cincinnati, New Orleans. Cincinnati, of course, Thursday night. Everyone was talking about it up until up until Sunday, how horrifically awful Andy Dalton looked. Cincinnati just looked they absolutely got blown out, shellacked, and I'm wondering if that translates then into public betting against them next week. Is the public all over New Orleans here?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely one-sided in terms of the action we got on New Orleans. And the thing too in a case like this is I've got my sharp guys on New Orleans when it was like 6.5 and 7, and my public guys are pretty much on there as well. Now, again, we've taken what I would consider a big bet on Cincinnati plus 7.5, minus 115. That's why the Lions dropped back down to New Orleans minus 7, minus 15. So we had sharper money driving the minus 6.5 and minus 7, and public as well on New Orleans, and a bigger bet plus 7.5. Now, I'm not going to call these like the sharp guys or the bigger bets that I took on New Orleans. They're not guys who have made the list quite yet. But they're guys who we respect quite a bit. So we're sitting at New Orleans minus 7, minus 15 right now. Totals of 51. Total's been pretty good for us sitting at 51. We're good there. I mean, you figure public's going to be betting over on our New Orleans game basically all the time. So right now the total is fine. Again, the 6.5 and 7 was decent money and just a pretty big bet coming back on Cincinnati plus 7.5 minus the 15. So right now the money is pretty split, but my count is definitely one-sided towards New Orleans.
All right, and no real sharp action on Cincinnati then when they hit plus 7.5 then. So that's that's kind of telling to me. All right, and then Philly Green Bay, an interesting game for many reasons, but the most interesting thing, I guess, is that we have two enormous offenses here, right? Total was opened at like 56.5 or 57, and it's since gotten bet significantly down to around 55. So I'm assuming that was sharp action that came in on the under, right?
Yeah, I mean, they started coming in under 56.5 and 55.5. We're sitting down at 55 right now. Again, this is a situation where you're going to get maybe some bigger bets, coming on the under, maybe it open up a little bit too high, but you're going to have public money going over as well. So you kind of, in a situation where these two guys play, you kind of have to open up the number maybe a little bit higher than you might think because the public's going to go over. And if it is too high, if it's a bit high and the sharps still like the over, at least you start out high. If you're a bit high and they bet the under, you're going to get public money back on the over. So it might have opened up a bit high at 56.5, but even at 55 where we are right now, we're not bad in terms of money just because most public money has been going over. We took a few big bets on the under. Right now we do have Green Bay minus 5.5 at home. And counts about 4-1 in their favor. The money kind of is basically exactly the same. So mostly public money. I took a big decent bet on Green Bay minus 5 up to 5.5 right now. But nothing involved in this game is really sharp at this point, Peter.
All right, and then the Pats Colts, huge marquee matchup. I'm assuming then again that this is a game that will take big volume, and especially closer to kickoff, the volume will probably just go through the roof on this one. Probably split. I have heard some opinions though that the Colts might be a sharp side here. So if you tell me that sharps came in on the Colts, I won't be shocked to hear that. What can you tell us about the action on this one?
Yeah, the sharps really haven't come in on this game yet. I mean, I've got a lot of public money involved. My count's about 2-1 in favor of the Patriots. My money's about 2-1 as well. But I mean, the dollar volume is really not that high at this point. Again, I mean, a lot of public guys, they'll be kind of holding on to their bankroll until Sunday night and then firing away. And I mean, I'm of the opinion these this season, the Sunday night games, the Monday night games, the Thursday night games, you're almost better off putting your total like a whole point higher than what everyone else on the board is now. I'm sitting 57.5 right now. There are 57s out there, but again, the count in terms of the over is just, I don't know, it's like, what are we, like 4 or 5-1 right now, and the money's pretty, the money's towards the over, obviously, but not crazy to the over. Took them, a couple bigger bets on the under, but nothing to move the number really. I mean, the big bets that came in were under 57.5, and that's where I'm sitting anyway, just because I just got so much public money on the over, and I don't see that stopping. And if you look at the way the games have gone this year, if it's a marquee night game, it's going over anyway. It doesn't seem to matter. So right now we're still sitting at Indianapolis minus 3, total 57.5. Count and money favors New England, but nothing big has come in from the sharps so far.
All right, well, there you go. The Green Bay and the Colts games show you that, even if you set out an NFL total in the upper 50s, the public will still bite at a big rate. All right, that's all I wanted to get to in terms of individual games. What can you tell us about the rest of the card from NFL Week 11?
It looks like the Sharps are looking at Seattle, saying they're back. I mean, interesting, taking back Seattle on the road. They're at Kansas City, who's been playing really well. But sharp money definitely came in on Seattle. Again, I've got a couple of guys who are on Seattle, so it's not just one guy firing big. It's a couple of guys who did that. They took Seattle plus 2.5. They took Seattle money line plus 125, and they also took Seattle when it was at 2. So my count and money is about 2-1 in favor of Seattle. A lot of volume on this game. I mean, it's easy to sell Kansas City at home, especially we're down in 1.5 right now, a total of 42. Nothing really sharp on the total at this point, but definitely have sharp money on Seattle. Like I said, it was 2.5, 2, and the money line plus 125. The Giants are also a sharp this week. They're at home to San Francisco now. We're sitting for San Francisco favored -4, dog 15 right now, and a total of 44. The sharp money on the Giants that came in was plus 4.5. This is one of those situations where we got a bit of a sharp and public split because my count is about 2-1 in favor of San Francisco. My money is 2-1 the other way. So obviously we like those situations in terms of being against the public and with the sharps. Detroit is another sharp side. Now that was Detroit plus 2, and even they took the money line Detroit as well plus 110. That is Detroit at Arizona. That line is down to a pick right now. So Detroit at Arizona is a pick. Total there is 41. And unfortunately, on Monday night, we've got sharp and public money all over Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Pittsburgh on the Monday night game. Pittsburgh is at Tennessee. We're at -6, -115 right now with Pittsburgh. Total's 46.5. No one's really touched the total on this one, but my count is about 6-1. My money's about 5-1, all in favor of Pittsburgh. Now, when the Sharps came in, they had 5 and then they had 5.5. Again, we're at 6 right now, -15. If this went up to 6.5, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the Sharps could come in with the line goes to 6.5. They buy to 7, maybe. The line goes to 7, maybe they'd come back the other way. I don't know. All I can tell you at this point is definitely one way, Sharps and public. Pittsburgh -5 and -5.5.
All right, Brent. Well, that's why this show is so invaluable to me because, I previewed that KC-Seattle game with 2 different professional handicappers. Both of them love KC in that one. So now I'm rethinking what I think about that game. And great information on the Monday night game, Sharps and the public, both on Pitt. And if you were wondering about, the Giants, San Francisco, yes, Sharps did come in on the Giants as they came in on the Jets last week. All right, Brent, thanks so much. Talk to you again next week.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.